5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And it's live.
This is Leicester Till I Die TV. Watch and subscribe on YouTube and listen on your podcast platform.
Good evening, everyone. Oh, I lost the whole thing there, Wayne. There we go. We're back to normal. How are you, Wayne? Welcome in, bud.
All right, mate. A lot of people are cheesed off with the weather at the minute in the UK.
This
is grim and grey, and it maybe pub shows Leicester City season so far, maybe.
Yeah, you're saying we've literally influenced the weather, mate. Yeah, I get you. At least we've got through January, which was a long month. But anyway, welcome along, everyone. Tonight, of course, it is transfer deadline day, as you can see there. So we're half an hour away now from the window closing. We've seen a little bit of business so far today. Get your highs and hellos in the chat there, and we'll take you all through it in this little roundup episode. Obviously, Chris is not here tonight. He's currently in a bar in Lanzarote. How knows, Wayne, how many he's deep already, bud?
Yeah, what a great way to... in the winter, it's great to go abroad, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. I'm envious of Chris, I must be honest. Me and you were sat here and I was thinking, goodness me, I wish we could be there having a beer as well. We did the show live from there. We're going to have to make him do this for us one time.
Good idea, mate.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Lovely job. Evening there, Gray. All right, guys. Let's say hello to a few people here, Wayne. Evening, Clibo. Hope you're all right there. Evening, Blue Fox. Good to see you. And the Gray straight in there. Apparently, Moodcaster's a done deal. Yeah, apparently so, mate. Once we've got confirmation, we'll take you all through that. I've got a load of stuff for that. Evening, Paul, as well. So good to see you there, guys. Like I say, guys, so you talk in the chat. Any other transfers that happen in the championship, feel free to chuck it in the chat as well. We can comment on that a bit as well, can't we, Wayne? And take everyone through that. So as you can see, scrolling along the bottom of the screen, guys, we've got all the ins and outs so far throughout the transfer window for Leicester, just scrolling along the bottom there for you to keep an eye on, and obviously that will stay up to date as we get towards the last 25 minutes. It is now. Will we make any more business happen? But anyway, Wayne, the first one is in the door today, and here he is holding the Leicester shirt, our new number 18 on loan from Southampton, Joe Aribo, out of contract in the summer. Wayne, what was your first thoughts, mate, when you heard this one, first one in?
Glad we've got somebody in. Obviously, we've not had a good history with Southampton players in the past, but we do need bodies, and he does sound very excited to be here, actually.
It does. Well, he's got an interesting deal, hasn't he? Where he's obviously out of contract in 6 months at Southampton, and you kind of feel like, is he in the Sumario Winks position with his club, and he's looking to go somewhere just to maybe earn himself a new contract? I think this is interesting, isn't it? Because it's someone that has moved about a bit. He's played for Rangers before as well, Southampton obviously for a bit. I think he's a bit of an enigma. I think he shows spells of having a bit of a football player in there, and other times he's sort of fallen by the wayside when new transfers are coming. Do you think because of that, Wayne, we're going to see probably the best of this guy? Because, you know, he's in a position where now he's got to go out there and earn his next deal somewhere, be it with Leicester or wherever.
I think that's spot on, mate. Although signing people in the January window can have problems, it's a great opportunity for some footballers to get their career on track and get a permanent deal. So, and on his interview on the LCFC website, he's smiling. He said it takes your breath away, to be honest. He says, and I'm a player who I'm willing to take risks.
Yeah, that's
so
good to hear.
A lot of system managers don't like that, but I actually do like that kind of player.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah, let me just bring his stats up for us here, because I've only got them from Transfer Market. You might just about be able to see that. So he plays main position as a central midfielder. He can also play an attacking midfield or right midfield. Current market value of 4 million. That's because his contract's running out. So, yeah, and obviously Nigerian international player as well. Got some history playing international football. I think it's an interesting one, isn't it? I think it's probably a bit of a punt, but we're in a bit of a punty position, aren't we? You could argue the same when we brought Ramsey in, and actually Jordan James obviously had not had the best year really out in France either, had he? So it's amazing. I think a lot of Leicester fans, like Gray said here, not too sure so far on him. But do you think, Wayne, his versatility and what he can cover for us might be quite useful here, or do you think he's going to play a certain place in this team?
Well, he said he can play a 10. I do like what he can offer and the flexibility we need. I think that is the kind of player we need. And yeah, I would like ideally 23 to 25-year-olds. But we do need a bit of experience to maybe help the young kids. And if he's flexible, I can't see a downside to this.
No, that's fair enough. Yeah, exactly. I say Gray is like, watch us bench him. Yeah, it could be one of those, couldn't it? Well, he could end up getting benched like Simara if his attitude isn't right. I mean, so hopefully he'll do something. Jim's in as well. Hiya, Jim. Hope you're doing well, bud. And Clibo's saying, to be honest, he took a risk already coming here. I mean, this is something that struck me this transfer window, Wayne. It's a great line because it is actually true. If you're a football player right now, hearing what's happening at Leicester City Football Club, I mean, I don't think we're the most attractive proposition. We've seen today other targets we've wanted, like the guy from Aston Villa's gone to West Brom, hasn't he? He was down there in the relegation scrap as well. Do you think that is something we've had to probably fight in this window, trying to attract players in because of where we are?
Yeah, I think maybe that's the case, but I do think a club like Leicester is always an attractive proposition for a certain player in a certain place in his career. Because like you mentioned, Jordan James, I mean, his season tanked, didn't it? He was stuck out in the cold, going nowhere. And all of a sudden, he scored 8 goals in the Championship. Is he Premier quality? He's approaching that, isn't he? So look what it's done for Jordan James. So could be, at that age, it's an opportunity for him, isn't it? And he does seem genuinely chuffed to bits. He couldn't stop smiling, actually, which I think is a great sign.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, I think the thing that always helps in these situations is that we've seen it in Leicester as well. When a manager comes in or a manager is changed and you see that evolution, sometimes a player falls to the wayside that another manager would have in their team. So, yeah, hopefully that little bit of hunger coming into us could be quite useful. I also think, like you say, he covers quite a few positions here. I think if we keep getting problems in this centre mid, don't we? As soon as Jordan James has gone out injured recently, it became very much a thing for me where we needed to go out there and get a central midfielder, as one of our bits of business today. Obviously, there's no one else that's been confirmed today so far, guys. We've quickly just gone through Joe Ariba. There are rumours out there, like you've been mentioning. We've got the Man City youngster, I can't pronounce his name properly, Makusa, I believe it is. Yeah. We've also heard rumours maybe about Mads Manson, although that might have cooled down a bit now, coming in on loan from West Ham because he's stuck on the bench over there as well, which could be interesting. I mean, Saturday right now, mate, we're 20 minutes to go to the transfer window closes. What position in your head is ringing that you've not heard any rumours about? I keep thinking the fullback positions, right back and left back. What about you guys in the chat as well? What do you think we should get in this last 20 minutes?
Well, I mean, interestingly, Chris mentioned Koulibaly, and I wanted to flag that for Chris to talk about because, to me, he's not a shoo-in to get in the first 11, but he answers a lot of problems. And I was one of those fans that could not understand after his debut why he didn't get more game time. You could tell he was comfortable at right back. He attacked up the wing. He was comfortable inside as well. He was just really comfortable on the ball, and he plays right back, right midfield, aggressive, fast, and he's 26 years old, so he's a perfect age to fit in this squad, and he'll be free. So,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I've thought about this because we've obviously had problems at fullback. I mean, Victor Christensen is back in training now, which makes me wonder if that's part of the reason they've held off getting a left back or a right back in, because money is still tight. They're going to have to select, obviously, where they put the investment in. But yeah, I think for Koulibaly, he's our player ultimately, isn't he?
Yeah.
And we're in a position where we definitely need someone. And the fact he can cover both left and right back for me, and you'd argue it's a division down as well. It's in the Championship now, not the Premier League. I think we should bring him back, really. But it just shows you, once again, the club's been quite poorly running that deal, hasn't there? Because this time last year, of course, Wayne, Koulibaly was arriving as a deal coming in, and then he just ends up playing one game. and that was it, and then the whole thing's over. So, I mean, can you see that happening today with a few of the players we bring in? Because it seems to be something that's happened with Leicester in the past.
Yeah, that could be the case. But it's like we're giving players who want to get the career back on track a chance. Why can't we give Koulibaly a chance? I'm sorry, it's a lack of intelligence if you don't think, you know what, whatever's gone on in the past, a good manager will say, you know, whatever's gone on in the past, that is in the past. So let's wipe the slate clean and see how we go. You know, and I hope the club can do that because he's a great player. And we need a player who's versatile, can play right. You know, like we're saying Ricky P's to gone past it to play right back. Koulibaly would slot straight in.
Well, exactly. Yeah, I think it's a case of as well. We actually need warm bodies as well, don't we? I mean, we've been arguing about maybe getting, you know, a Luco playing more minutes. I've been calling for a Luco to be starting at right back now for several weeks to try and see if that makes that a position we're less worried about, right? Just going to go to Clibo here because a lot of people have said this, including Gray as well. Striker is essential. We've not really heard anything about a striker coming in today, which means we're probably stuck with AU and Daka. And of course, you can see on the bottom we have had an out because Jake Evans has gone out on loan to Northampton, which has caused Chris a bit of anger as well on the channel, as we know. I mean, do you think we're going to survive well without a striker, Wayne? Because of course this is a big 6 months for us now. If we get into a relegation scrap and can't score goals, do you think if we don't go out and get a striker in the next 20 minutes, it could come back to bite us quite horrifically?
Yeah, I do think that. I mean, that Divine McCarthy, he does play as a 10. He's great in tight spaces, loves scoring assists. He's down as highly skilled and he brings an added level of creativity to teams. So there is a potential that he could play. And I know what I can't remember who said in the chat, oh, he'll just be like all the other kids from Seagrave. He'll probably get straight on the bench. But I've been looking at it. So the Man City, Chelsea and Man United academies, under 21s, they're category 1. So they're the elite. And that's why they will bring on Oscar Bob, Phil Foden's and all those kind of Rashford. They all come through these academies, and some other Premier clubs lower down are lucky to get those that don't quite make it. But the calibre of those players in these kind of academies is a lot higher than even with our Seagrave, like Leicester City's. So I'm very excited about this Mikasa.
Yeah, exactly. And I've just put his stats up there on screen, guys, actually. So I've got them prepared because we're all but waiting just for confirmation on this one going through now because it's any second now. They should be saying he's signed on loan from Man City. But as you can see there in his main positions, he's an attacking midfielder, so he's basically going to be a 10. However, he can play as a centre forward. The only thing that's interesting about getting loanees in for these positions is, and when I see this, is, okay, he can play as a striker. I'm pretty sure Man City probably don't want him playing as a striker, though he's out on loan here. They'll probably say we want him playing in attacking mid and how we want to use him, right? So I do think, like, you know, I would have probably gone for a striker here with Decordova-Reid having settled into a 10 position quite well. Yeah, so I'm a bit funny on this. We'll see how this one turns out, you know. But, I mean, if he's a great talent. But once again, you know, this season, Wayne, we've seen players like Monga, haven't we? Who've got great talent. Perhaps recess a bit playing in this group. I mean, that's a bit of a concern, isn't it? Do you think really, like, players like Joe Aribo are going to have that leadership quality we're probably looking for in any signing we make now?
I think he will be, and that is a problem, like with Monga being a designated 10 through his career and not even getting a chance at 10. That's not good enough from management to not even try it. And I agree with you. I think we still need a striker. I would still love to get a striker in because then that will allow him to play in a 10 and be mobile because we need that better connectivity up the top half of the pitch, don't we?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think that's a very crucial part of it. I mean, this year we've really struggled to score goals, haven't we? We've either had the problem with we've been playing too deep at times because of Vestergaard being in the team and the team's been a bit afraid to get caught out, or they have got caught out on the counter-attack. We've seen that especially against Oxford, haven't we, recently, mate? But like you say, then when they drop back, they seem to lose any attacking threat at all, don't they? So other rumoured players coming in, we've got obviously as well. So if I quickly just bring up a couple of those, I mean, I don't think Mads Samantha is going to happen, Wayne, is it? But it does ask the question about, if I just quickly bring Mads up here, it does ask the question about, is it wise for us to be looking at a goalkeeper if possible as well? Maybe another one in on loan? I mean, because Jacob obviously has got a little bit shaky in the past few weeks, hasn't he?
Yeah, and it's like some of us wanted to rest him and start Begovic just to give him a break. Because Begovic would probably handle the pressure a bit more because he's a stronger character. So, yeah, you can see if they're not intending to use Begovic, I can see why, if it is a rumour, that might go for him. But I wouldn't mind giving Begovic a go, to be honest. It's how many signings, how much money we've got, what the cost is. And the good thing is that we've got getting rid of players, high earners off the books, aren't we? So wages-wise, I think we're all right on a weekly basis.
Yeah, we must be, yeah, because I mean that brings up the next rumour that hasn't been confirmed yet. But this chap here, Jamal Salas, and yeah, he's obviously on £50,000 a week allegedly. Obviously, we don't entirely know, but that's the rumoured figure here. The rumour is obviously he's about to join us on loan as well as a potential, last minute window signing. We believe we'll have to pay probably a lot of those £50,000 a week, Wayne. So, yeah, do you think this actually is encouraging in the fact that the club's now gone, well, perhaps this PSR thing, irrelevant if it's been announced or not yet, it might be slightly behind us now, because we can look at players like this and go, okay, we've got this £50,000 a week available at the moment to spend on the wages.
Yeah, I think it's encouraging because of the sheer amount of wages we've got. I mean, what, 130,000 the last two exit guys, but I do question whether we would have to pay the 50. I would normally a club. They agree maybe part of the deal if they want to, kind of get him off the books because it's in his last year of his contract. But I did text the son-in-law and grandson, they support Newcastle, and I asked him about themselves. And also I did go on Wikipedia and Benitez brought him in because he loved the way in the changing room, he challenged some of the established players for not having the right attitude. I thought, I like the sound of that. He's had a training ground bust up with another player. And he played for 4 months with a double hernia on painkillers when Newcastle got promoted to the Premier League. So that, to me, is a leader. He has had a couple of injury issues lately, but as a character to help garner better team spirit, I think it will be a brilliant signing.
It's an interesting point you bring up about the injury there as well. And I mean, I agree with you, Wayne, so I'll just choke on my last bit of drink there. I think he'll bring a bit of leadership, which is definitely a crucial thing for me in any player we can bring in this window. I think we've been fortunate in some ways with Jordan James that he's naturally got that leadership in him. I think when he came in, we probably didn't expect that to be the case, but it has proved crucial for us this season. Otherwise, we'd have a lot less points, wouldn't we? But you bring up the word injury, and here's a good point, isn't there? And Gray said here, I don't know what the Salas brings to the club. He's another sick note. Aaron Ramsey, Jordan James, Jamal Salas, and you think a lot of these players have had quite major injuries, setbacks in their career, which are very unfortunate because they're very good players. Do you think that realistically we would have a shout of getting these players in right now if it wasn't for the fact they've had these injury problems? And do you think that's a wise strategy for the club to be going down?
I don't think it's a particularly wise strategy. Even keeping Ramsey, unless there's something in the contract where we've got to keep him to the end of the season if he's not back till April. But I just think that's where we are at the moment. Sometimes I've had contracts on where I've just needed bodies to go down, so they weren't. So the construction companies weren't panicking that we'd get the job cleaned up for when the handover. So sometimes you do just need bodies. The son-in-law did say, because he was captain for a good few years under Benitez. And it's only when Eddie Howe came in and they had a massive influx of spending money on like your Isaacs and all your different, Anthony Gordon from Everton, that he was kind of pushed out. So that's the only reason. But he was captain for many years. And the son-in-law said he's I think he had a game in the Champions League against Paris Saint-Germain. He said he played really well in that game. So he's definitely got the goods of Premier thing. But we were only getting players that need to get the career kick started again, or are on the way down or on the way up, or maybe have had some injury problems.
Yeah, I mean, there's an interesting other angle on that as well, isn't there? Because when I was thinking about this, I was a little bit like, I wish we could see some other players, from maybe a different area, or something like that. But I thought about it, ironically, we've had a lot of success pulling out players who were kind of viewed as on the scrap heap. Mark Albrighton comes to mind, perhaps at Aston Villa, where he was released. Do you think, there is a chance? I mean, can you say the Salas and also obviously Aribo? Do you see us really bringing these guys in now because we look at them and go, okay, they're out of contract, in X amount of months. we can make an offer for them. Do you think it's just, like you say, a really educated gamble, and we're really looking longer term with what is 2 short loan signings?
Yeah, I think it's just. So what is the plan? I hope it's not, as Top said, to finish in the playoffs, because I think that is a bit delusional. But if we want to just survive and finish mid-table, then basically I think these are the kind of players we need to go for. I do think if they can stay fit, they will make a difference to the mental approach and the strength we need in some of these matches. So I just think it's a temporary thing to help us stay up. But that's up to the players. I mean, their injuries, you'll see, it's like we were going to have Antonio, which would have been brilliant, but his injury let him down. So that's an unknown, isn't it, really? It's difficult.
Yeah, it is, exactly. And also, like, Dorco's raised a good point here, Wayne. We still had no confirmation, guys, with 10 minutes to go on anyone else having signed on the dotted line yet, but as soon as that happens, we will bring it in. Oxford and Charlton seem to be able to get good players, as we have seen recently. No reason we can't do the same. And I think that's very good. And that ties into what, as Derek has just said above that, which is third window in a row, we have left business until the last day. Embarrassing, isn't it? I mean, what do you think about the club's transfer policy? I mean, it's very much, we're under the impression, because of PSR obligations, that we were going to have to sell to be able to buy. So do you think this is just because of the fact we had to get Sumari out of the way, or tried to move Winks out of the way, being more successful with Sumari, and we obviously have with Winks, he's going to be staying with us. But do you think that's the reason why for this? Or do you see this as a problem we've had at the club for a long time, where we seem to leave things so last minute with our transfer business, we end up just sort of picking from bruised apples almost?
Yeah, I think it's probably both, mate, to be honest. I think, so historically, the last few years, starting with Brendan, some of the contracts handed out were ludicrous. For whether you're chasing Champions League, that's irrespective. You still have to run your business in the green, or you're risking things. But I do think it is where we are as a club. And we needed, the most important thing for me this season was getting rid of all the overpaid, very below average players that had a shitty attitude. And we've almost done that. And the ones that will leave on a free will leave on a free. But I am quite optimistic about the empty canvas we've got. And then we will see really whether the club has learnt its lessons from the ludicrous contracts, and who they sign going forward with, hopefully some Bilal money and other money we'll have. But definitely the wages side of things, like you with your FM, Tom. You hit a brick wall, didn't you, with the wages? So the wages is a part of it as well. And we've got rid of a lot of massive wages.
Yeah, well, that's it, isn't it? Whereas Muskasa and the Steelers, they haven't actually been confirmed as signing yet, Scott, mate. I'll put them into the ins when it's confirmed, but it hasn't come up on the official channels yet. We are expecting it any time. These rumours are quite strong, aren't they? So we got about 7 minutes left, guys. Obviously, there's other business going on in other places, but nothing jumping out here. Question from Paul: why didn't we go for the striker who's gone to Sheffield United? It was a no-brainer. Paul, what striker was that, mate? Because I must confess I've missed that one today, bud. Unless you know what it is, Wayne. But
no, I didn't know.
No. But I mean, a lot of clubs are doing good business, aren't they? You see, and Armchair said that I can see the next video we buy from Anthony Nomads and Corn. I mean, David Nugent's down there, isn't he, Wayne? We could probably do with someone who can just be an old-fashioned centre forward and put the ball in the back of the net. There was a comment up above which I've just lost, but I'm just going to go back to it, and that was it seems very little use to be going out there bringing players in while we haven't really got a manager here. I mean, what's your thoughts on that, bud? I mean, like, obviously we were going to be low on numbers anyway, and I feel the club kind of had to make a move for it. Irrelevant if there's a manager or not, they need to bring some bodies in, like I say with Koulibaly, a warm body back, just because we're getting these injuries, especially in the centre mid. We're down to Chowdhury and Page at the moment. I mean, the club had to move to get players in, didn't it, Wayne, despite there not being a manager, didn't they?
Yeah, it is literally survival mode now. That's why I didn't agree with Top saying playoffs. We just need to be, we don't even want to get to just above the relegation zone, do we? We want to finish 5 or 6 places above the relegation zone. So Callum Wilson.
Oh, I hadn't noticed he gone, mate.
They got Bamford as well, didn't they?
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because I argued this earlier in the season, guys. I'm sure you remember this, Wayne. I said, why aren't we going in for free transfers now? Because there must be at least some money to pay some wages out somewhere,
Yeah.
or a way to organise that. And Sheffield United in particular, their transfer business throughout this year, because they've gone for Jarrod Riedewald, who was a free transfer. Bamford, like you say, was a free transfer. I mean, I'm looking at today and going, we seem to like go around and call every football club and either buy something they're about to chuck into the skip out the back of the football club, or, you know, or it's someone who's a young prospect that they're ready to, you know, like Man City are going to send out on loan somewhere. We don't seem to be looking, you know, out in the desert of, you know, the players out of contract. Wayne, do you think we've missed a trick here with the players available?
Yeah, like you said before, Ollie McBurney going to Hull. Look, I do think it's a tightrope with more of the younger fans that they would probably poo-poo someone like Ollie McBurney, having played for Sheffield United, maybe, or he's coming to the end of his career, but some players can do it in the Championship, and he's having a brilliant season, isn't he? McBurney, wow,
Yeah, a lot of them are, mate, definitely here. A proper detox in the summer was important. It didn't happen. Nick, I think we've been talking about this through the last 25 minutes, and you're bang on, mate. The club seems to be leaving everything to the last minute. If it was a kid at school, its homework would be doing on the bus on the way to school in the morning of the day, because that's just the way the football club is run. And like Armchair said, the window's open until 11 as long as you've got paperwork. I keep checking, obviously, all the socials, guys, and so far the only confirmation is for Joe Aribo. We are expecting something to happen for Mikasa from Man City, for the Sellas from Newcastle as well, potentially. There's also a few other rumours out there, Wayne, which I'm quickly going to pull up to everyone. But
because we can still actually sign people who are out of contract, can't we? Even when the window closes,
Yeah, and actually, throughout the first part of the season, I think we only had 22 registered players, which meant we had 3 spots open. We could have registered as we were going on, so that's what Sheffield United did with their signings, mate. So, yeah, so there's also a rumour breaking out about Dujon Richards, who is a Chelsea striker. The latest one just in the door, so he might come in on loan, guys. So everyone out there who's saying we want a striker, apparently Chelsea striker Dujon Richards has agreed a loan move in principle to Leicester City. So I'm gonna have to go find some graphics for him in a minute and try and get them on the screen. But yeah, so that's a new rumour that's just breaking, guys. Nothing else officially has arrived as of yet. And hopefully all the rumours about any departures might be ending as well. I mean, what do you make about the rumour we heard this week, Wayne, about Abdul Fattah maybe departing to Saudi Arabia? I mean, I wasn't too worried about it, because if I was him, I was thinking I want to play European football. I'm at that young age of my career, so the Saudi option isn't kind of on the radar yet, right? But obviously it can be quite a way to turn the young man's head with all that money. Do you think he was ever going to consider maybe a move out to Saudi, perhaps to get out of this Leicester situation?
Yeah, I mean, I've got to, because I love Monga. I'm a big fan of Monga. I saw him when we went to see the under-21s, and I thought, I won't store. It was freezing, that game of football, watching Chelsea. But yeah, so Monga's career could be spoilt if he's not careful at Leicester. And so you can see it. And has Abdul's head been in the right place this season, really? I think he's been quite unprofessional. He scored some wonder goals, but it's his attitude, really, that's getting in his own way. And his head gets scrambled quite easily, quite quickly during matches. And that, to me, kind of thinks, I don't mind having an almost complete clear out and restart, to be honest. I wouldn't mind that. Wingers and everything, really.
No, exactly. Yeah, and Grace just said he believes that we've confirmed the signing now as well. Well, just keep refreshing, mate, and then we'll get the confirmation. But they might be all sat here moaning for the last 20 minutes about how no one's gone for a striker. This is encouraging, and Chelsea have actually got a history of providing some pretty good young strikers out there as well. So that is an encouraging one. Hopefully, we'll get confirmation on that in a minute, guys. But it is another thing. Sorry, Ryan, carry on, mate.
Yeah, just that thing with regards to like Chelsea and Man United, Man City being in Category 1 of the under-21s and bringing the premier quality players. Remember Lampard when he had Chelsea had an embargo, and he played all the young kids, including Tammy Abraham, all the young kids. They actually made the Champions League, and then he was given a load of money to spend, and he ended up getting sacked because he just didn't either completely abandoned all the young kids. So I do think a lot of these Chelsea, Man City youngsters are at least Championship level, pretty much 18 or 19, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that's it, isn't it? I think they're prepared a lot more. He's a Jamaican international as well, like Gray said there, which he is, at quite a young age, which is impressive, isn't it? So, yeah, and that's it, guys. I mean, the transfer window is officially closed now. Like Scott was saying, we just had a brief talk about Dujon Richards there, mate, and apparently he is. We're just awaiting the announcement, but it's pretty much been leaked that he has signed for us on loan. He is a striker from Chelsea, so that is pretty good. So, and Gray's just currently watching videos of him there, look, mate, saying he can hit it. We need somebody who can hit the onion bag well, mate. Yeah. Honestly, I need a woman like that. But there we go. I'm talking about away from transfers, Wayne. I was thinking about this. You can see at the bottom of the screen for the outs. We've seen Jake Evans go out on loan. We've seen Braybrook go out on loan. And there's other ones that have probably dotted out on loan. I might have even missed, actually. Do you see any players coming up from this academy into this first team now? I know Kingy's in temporary charge, right? We've seen Gray end up on the bench. Brandon Cover was on the bench at the weekend, right, as well. Do you still see maybe players coming up from that? Or do you think it will just be post the transfer into the new signings and the youngsters will probably be left as they were before?
I can see it depends how safe we are, because so when Rude didn't do it, that was very disappointing. Marty was a bit too safe, but the job's on the line. But I think in the position, it's going to be a bit harder to give them a chance because of just where we are in the table. And as you said in the FM show, Tom, it's amazing how this season far more closely mirrors the brief that Chris gave you at the beginning of the season, and we didn't expect it to be this close, but it's amazing how close it is.
Yeah, it's difficult because there's a lot of younger players, isn't there? So, I mean, they haven't got the experience. It is a battle, isn't it? I mean, this comes back to another point I was thinking of, Wayne. Jordan Ayew, right? Let's bring up this. When he was signed, we viewed him as we were trying to bring in some experience, right? I now feel we're in a transfer window again where we kind of go around, we probably need some experience, right? Because we lack that leadership element on the pitch. And we've seen it recently with all the infighting and people pointing fingers at each other. Can you see us being quite a hypocritical fan base in a minute? Because we were calling for experience now for quite a while, myself included, and then we've all obviously gone to Jordan Ayew and gone, we're not very happy with him at the moment. He's going down too easy on the ball. He's giving too much up, to the opposition, and he's, not getting on very well up there. Do you think we're getting to be a bit hypocritical in what we want as Leicester fans at times? Because obviously we seem to want to be able to win, but we don't seem to like experienced players failing for us almost.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Paul's getting greedy now. Look, now we need a left back. he was. Go on,
I agree, mate.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's interesting. So everybody wanted the 4-2-3-1, and then even some of the younger fans saying, "No, I've had enough of this 4-2-3-1. It's boring. We need to get the ball forward and have more heart and fight." So, yeah, look, I know Ayew, like Clibo is particular Ayew hater. But I think Ayew, for the money we spent on him in the Premier League, he got a goal every £1 million. He's had better attitude than some of the so-called internationals. But he's 2 years on and his time is gone. But he's the best we've had. He's the best striker we've had, which that's quite a damning indictment that we've not replaced Vardy. But in all these years, we've failed. With rewarding Daka with this long-serving contract, Carranza that didn't work out, and by default, Ayew is the best striker we've got. That's why we're playing him, because we've got nobody else.
That's it, exactly. And I think Paul summed it up well here. There's good experience and bad experience, isn't there? Yeah. So I think that's a lot of it. So obviously, guys, the transfer window is now closed. But however, there is a new thing they brought in, which is now the EFL deal sheet, right? So just to explain that, the deal sheet is a document introduced to assist clubs on transfer deadline day. It allows clubs, in effect, an additional 2 hours to submit the required paperwork between the buying club, selling club, and the player and the EFL, as long as it is submitted before 7 o'clock. So we've only had... Oh, and Gray is just saying confirmation, Tom, on Richards. So I'm just going to refresh this, guys, which is good news. And it looks like we've got another striker in here, Wayne. So that is exciting. And even Prashant, yeah, we think we just signed a striker, mate, but we're about to work all that out. So I just want to go and get pictures. I know, amazing, isn't it, mate? Amazing. I'm just literally wanting to get the confirmation up here so I can go steal the picture for the video. But that would then mean we've brought in a midfielder in Joe Aribo and a striker. I mean, are you filled with confidence, Wayne, just quickly here about how we're run as a football club? Because we hear this deal sheet thing I was just explaining. Do you have faith that we would have submitted our deal sheets in time before 7 o'clock? Because Is it something the club will even be aware of, do you think, mate? Because we've had in the past, obviously, deadlines being missed and players ending up not being able to play for 6 months, Adrian Silva, right?
Oh, that was absolute, and his career stalled after that, didn't it? It just never happened. And that is a rookie error. That's like a YTS clerk just being given a few jobs to do, and you're thinking, oh no, I'll do them on Monday morning, sort of thing. It is very basic, isn't it? That sort of thing. It'd be quite ironic if we actually signed on a usually rubbish January transfer window. We signed a striker that actually goes on to get more goals than our strikers have got so far this season. Wouldn't that be a nice turn up for the books?
Oh, it would, mate. Yeah, I was just literally trying to find some stats about Mr. What's his name again? I've lost his name now, mate. Sterling, isn't it? No, not Sterling, is it? No, Richards. Richards. Because I was getting confused. Imagine we signed Raheem Sterling on deadline day. That would be interesting. Yeah. So I was just trying to find some stats on him. I didn't find too much, but we know he's a Jamaican international player as well. So, and once again, people are saying there's confirmation out there, mate. I haven't quite got it yet on mine, but we'll probably take it as that's pretty much there. Is the loan window open for longer, Spencer? We don't believe so, mate. It's all 7 o'clock. However, they got this deal sheet thing we just talked of, where if the deal hasn't actually technically been completed, but they've got the paperwork in to say it's going to happen, that buys a 2-hour window. So expect tonight, guys, to be refreshing your Twitter, your X, your Facebook, going on the Leicester website for another couple of hours, because you know what we're like. We'll probably announce it at 9 o'clock, won't we, Wayne? So,
yeah. And so it's possible if we get Lascelles in that Macassar is 5'11". He's played England under 16, under 17, under 18, under 19. If we get 3 or 4 in, that'd be brilliant.
It would, wouldn't it? I mean, like, and this is it, isn't it? How many, Wayne, do you think we actually need right now? So, okay, let's let Jack from the Final Whistle, Gray, is saying there's just confirmed this one, right? So, say we got Richards up front, say we got Aribo in midfield, and then we got the Salas centre back, hopefully, as well. Would you say then still it's a bit of a problem not having a fullback, perhaps, or a goalkeeper, or would you still reckon they might happen yet?
Yeah, I do wonder whether, if we get that Divine Macassar as well from Man City, I think it would be nice to get a left back. That will be a bonus. And I do think with getting rid of the high earners, we must be able to afford some decent wages. And that's what I hope, So I'm not, you got Koulibaly though. I mean, if we get him back, so I think it's been a good window if we can get at least one more in. I would like a left back. Yeah, we all would really, wouldn't we?
Yeah, I was just trying to think what would my priority be now, because like obviously the goalkeeping situation, you could argue like you can look at it, but maybe the way to look at it is just by putting Begovic in for a few games and resting Xhaka, but then that probably solves that problem a bit easier than just going out there and getting another goalkeeper, because of course we have still got Vietes as well, who's in training, but hasn't really been talked about as a potential first team starter. So that deal looks like another one in the recent line of Leicester City. We might have got this deal wrong, but we tried something, So for me, I think left back's quite important. The Koulibaly situation is interesting as well, isn't it? Because I'm pretty sure that he's not getting many minutes there at Sassuolo, and like he's not the first name on the team sheet. He's not really impressed them either. So there is rumours I heard that he might be. There might be a way to get him back here, but what Leicester's like. I'd firmly expect us to probably send him out on loan. Then we're going to end up with an injury crisis at right back or left back, and we'll be in the position we were with Louis Page earlier this week, where I was going, well, why haven't we? With Louis Page going in for Jordan James, but I was saying Braybrook could have been an option as well, right? So. Dorco, I said we got 2 left backs already. I mean, I do think this also, Wayne, shows that Christensen must be getting better, mustn't he?
Yeah, he's back on the grass. I think Mark said last week he was back on the grass, which is encouraging. And it's like a lot of players, you think, we need them now, whereas ordinarily they probably might have moved on because they probably wouldn't be getting in the first team and nowhere near the first team, to be honest. So I think we could have enough to stay up.
Yeah, I mean, that's the key, isn't it? And of course, like Paul said, we're only allowed 5 loans in the first team squad, so I hope this works. So, and this is it. I mean, I think you can have more than that, but you can only have 5 named in your squad. So when you do your team sheet with your substitutes, you can only have up to 5 loan players there. So, so that's an interesting one for me. This is a good point from Scott as well, because and this would not surprise me with Leicester. We've only just sent Will Alves out, but I did wonder as well if Will Alves was another one we should look at maybe bringing back. Do you think a lot of this transfer business could have been avoided, Wayne? Wayne, if we'd probably put a little bit more faith in these youngsters like the fans have been calling for? Or do you think like Will Alves, for example, might not have the physicality for this league? I mean, he seems to be doing well enough in League One for me, but...
Yeah, it's just stepping up every. That's why Wrexham have done so very well in successive promotions, and sometimes like Ipswich keeping the original personnel on their journey through the divisions. But yeah, we have been, and that's down to Marty really. I think Rude didn't quite have the balls to play the youngsters enough, and that's been a common thing from the fans' frustration, isn't it? So definitely play like Louis Page. You could see you can see Louis Page next season. If he's not a starter in the team, then that's a travesty. Yeah. So give it. They need a few chances. And one thing I don't like is when Aluko had that game and he was dragged out. Wasn't given another chance. Ben Nelson in the cup as an iffy game. Then you don't get near the first team again. I'm sort of like Jim said. You've got to let the kids play, accept that they will make some mistakes. They will make mistakes because they're human. But what would have happened if we'd have carried on with Ben Nelson, or if we carried on with Aluko and put her on and say, look, don't worry about it. That's yesterday. We're here for you. Keep doing what you're good at. We're here to support you. Because you need to give people the opportunity to make a mistake. Yeah. So they play the natural game. You don't want them being fearful when they play a match.
No, definitely not, mate. Yeah, and Scott's also mentioned it. I'm going to quickly bring up Armani Richards' minutes up front. This is an interesting one because a mate of mine's a big Exeter City fan, and he was on loan at Exeter City last season. And unfortunately, I think he only played about 9 minutes for them because they had a look at him and didn't think he was particularly up to it, Scott. So, yeah, because I've questioned this as well because he's 21, Armani Richards. He's under contract with Leicester, obviously, and he's not had a look himself. So I think that's why, mate, we've not looked at him here. Jim's got some stats for us here. Look quickly here. Richards is 6'2" and 20 years old. That's better at AU at 6 foot and 34. I mean, okay, we've all been moaning about the club, haven't we, Wayne? But it looks to me like if I quickly just look at that, I mean, he's a big boy, isn't he? He's over 6 foot. This chap. I mean, this guy as well. Apparently, he's quite a tall bloke as well, isn't he? He's apparently, I think, about 6 foot as well from Man City.
5'11", mate. Yeah,
5'11". So all but 6 foot. Yeah, he can jump up and make that up, can't he? So yeah, I mean, do you think that was a big part of what we're looking for this transfer deadline day, Wayne, is to get a bit of physicality in this team with any position we were looking for? So either if you're a centre-back or a forward, do you think height has been a real big thing on the list for us and what we're going out shopping for?
100%. When you see balls pumped up to Ayew in the air against a physical team like Charlton, he's never, ever going to win that.
No, it's been my complaint this season because we did it with Daka as well, didn't we? We expected them to be prime Harry Kane and hold the ball up and feed it off to people. They are poachers. You play them in and they shoot, right? So yeah, sorry to interrupt, but I think you bang on with that. That's been a big problem with us struggling to score goals this year, Wayne.
Spot on, mate. And as Paul said, the wingers have to put crosses in. It's interesting when you watch so Arsenal score the most goals from set pieces, and that's mainly the corners. And what they do, they have all the defence line up in front of the goal. But Arsenal only have 5 players, but they load on the back post. And when the ball's being delivered in, they all then run in front of the defender on the 6-yard box. They score an incredible amount of goals. But they have quality deliveries. And you get why are teams doing the long throws into the box? Because they realise you need to get the ball in the bloody box. And so we've got 2 wingers that like to cut inside. And I think that's a problem. We limit our play. We need wingers that do cut inside, but also was it you or Chris said, why don't you swap Mavididi and Fatu around so we're getting balls into the box? But we haven't got the players. But with these players, we will have another weapon in our arsenal, like headers, getting the ball in the box,
Yeah, definitely, mate. I think it's a key thing, isn't it? Jim's just sent me a video there. One of my phone was going off. Apparently, it was a good video on Dujon Richards and makes him look... I've been trying to find a picture of him to put up for everyone, but I don't want to get the wrong Richards. There's so many Richards players, isn't there, around at the moment. You don't want to get the wrong one. But interesting enough, guys, it still hasn't been confirmed yet. Obviously, Jack from the Final Whistle, we got that information on through the chat. So, so it hasn't been confirmed. So far, it's only Joe Aribo. Let's talk about some of the outs quickly, Wayne, here, with 15 minutes on to go of the show here. So Julian Carranza transfer obviously didn't work out. He's gone back to final, then been moved on to Tigres down in Mexico. Sammy Braybrook, obviously, there's gone on loan to Chesterfield as well. He was talking about wanting first-team football for us, first-team football consistently as a part of the reason that he wanted to go out. Like I say, I wish Braybrook had stayed around. I mean, does it worry you to see like young players like Braybrook making comments like that a little bit? Because it kind of feels like maybe he was asked, do you want to stand around? Are you be involved in the first team, or would you prefer to go? And they're choosing to go. I mean, it feels quite a destructive year for us in that regard, potentially, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it's just been a not quite connected in the development. Look, we have got. I do think next season we'll have a good 3 or 4 or maybe 5. Could we have more of the Seagrave kids playing regularly in the first 11, which I think is encouraging. But we definitely have. There has been a stutter in there, and yeah, it's such a travesty that both him and Alves got injured in the ways, and then they had secondary, which is very common. They had the secondary injuries coming back, and they were on such a good trajectory. I think they would have been playing regularly in the side, and sometimes an injury can almost end your career, basically. And so I just hope that whatever happens, that's why I don't mind Braybrook going, because he deserves to play week in, week out. Players like that need to play week in, week out to get the mind sharp, to get the body hardened off. So it is frustrating in some ways, but I can see why that loan move happened.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and also it was mentioned here by Scott, I think, because we can't move Winks on, he probably stays at the club as well, which is probably a fair point, actually, isn't it? So, and also I look at like Andy King right now. Andy King's fully admitted that, he's probably not ready to manage Leicester City Football Club right now. He almost looks a bit like, oh no, it's too soon. I don't want it to damage my reputation and my relationship with the fans and all the rest of it. I think there was a bit of that in the younger players as well, potentially. Maybe they're going, well, I don't want to be involved in this first team now until it's all sorted out, but we've got some more experienced players in. So just another out as well for you, mate. Let's talk about him. Chris has got his head up on the shelf behind him now as a trophy. Mr. Wootface, not off to the best starts at Monaco either. Looks like he's, I wouldn't say stinking up the joint, but he's not really pulling up any trees there at all. Do you see a situation where we get to the end of the season and, everyone was quite happy mudslinging him, and he had family members sling it back at Leicester as well. Do you see a position where he's going to be back with us in the summer and we're going to be able to play him again?
No, not at all. I mean, he's gone to. When you think it, I mean, it's a nice area to live in, but that team is struggling. I think they lost 4 on the trot, didn't they? They are really struggling. Who's he next to? The ex-England centre half,
Eric Dyer.
That's right. I'm sorry. He's champagne mouth, lemonade pockets. He's all spin, Woot Faz. And he's lucky. So most average players could play in a Man City side, and they would make you, a non-league player could play in a Man City side. They make you look a lot better than you actually were, because they cover your mistakes, they pass a move. Wout Faz in Belgium, in the Belgian side, they made him look a lot better than he was. Because he should have been more influential. He should have been more, and Ben Nelson's more positionally aware than Wout Faz. He's 21. Wout Faz is a Belgian international, and he goes walkabouts and doesn't, that's not acceptable.
No, I'd agree with that as well. I'll be intrigued to see if he does come back and how that works out. I mean, maybe he'll end up going out to Saudi Arabia like Buba Sumari did, Wayne. So that has saved us 1.7 million in wages till the end of the season. An astronomical amount of money we were spending on him there. When you think about that money alone is going to pay for the Salas's loan money, and it's definitely going to pay for at least 2 or 3 other young, youth players coming in, probably Richards from Chelsea, and also obviously Mikasa from Man City there. I mean, is that where we are as a football club right now, do you feel? We need to obviously compress these big contracts down to be able to bring more players in. And in that case, I mean, would you look at this and go, we probably should have tried to get rid of Winks a bit more here, because we probably could have gone out and got another 3 players in, perhaps?
100%.
Was it too quick? Was it too quick to try and turn over 6 players? I feel we're in that position with 6 out in the summer. We want to try and get maybe 6 players in this window. Yeah,
it's one of those difficult things. Like Rob Tanner says, he says you might be desperate to. I think Chris last year was on the show, and he said, look, you might really want him to go. He might want to go, but no club's coming for him. You might want him to go. Other club might want him, but he doesn't want to move because he doesn't want to drop in wages. He said it's like selling a house. It's such a complicated chain of events. So yeah, I would say that I'm so happy that all the big earners are gone. Like you said, Faz is the only one who'll be left. Will he have one more year on his contract? But everybody else, Dakar, Winks will be gone. Yeah, and Winks, I think, it did look brilliant. But he was brilliant against the Charlton side that are really quite low in the league. So he's never going to get back to a Premier League team. And his attitude, he's fallen out with 3 managers, hasn't he?
Well, that's it, exactly. He seems very much, unless he's managed by Enzo, that it doesn't really work out for him at the top level it probably could, right? But yeah, it's interesting. Just to say, guys, again, we've still literally 20 minutes past the window here. Obviously, everyone's saying in the chat we've got these deals signed pretty much and delivered, but Leicester haven't announced them yet. So we're still saying so far at the moment the only official in is Joe Aribo from Southampton. Wayne, I mean, we'll get towards the end and wrap this up in a mix. We could be here till 9 o'clock all night waiting, can't we? But just a quick thought here. If we do end up with just Joe Aribo and like nothing else happens now, despite all the rumours, I mean, how are you going to feel coming into Birmingham away on Saturday?
I'll be wearing a nappy, mate.
You'd be that upset.
Terry, because I'm old school, it'd be Terry Towell in one.
Yeah,
exactly. that would be a sickener, to be honest.
I mean, that would be, I mean, if that happens, and obviously I don't want that to happen, but it'd be typical Leicester. We've obviously got the one confirmed in Aribo. We've got these lined up in, Richards, Mikasa, Lascelles, and then none of them happen. Because we haven't actually got ourselves in a position to also be prepared and have made these offers a week ago, the window's closed and we're stuck with what we got. Unfortunately, that wouldn't surprise me at all, being Leicester City, but hopefully, guys, we are wrong on this one. But anyway, what else would you have liked to have seen this window one more time, Wayne? I mean, in a minute, we're going to score the signings we think we're making as well, just to end the show off, all right? So, once again, mate, anything else you'd have looked for in this window?
I'd say not. I would love Koulibaly to come back, and I do think it would be nice to get a left back. And yeah, you have got, like you said, that's a lot of changes, and that can be quite disruptive. But Lascelles, character, McCarthy, Aribo seems really fired up to be here. Striker, we've been super disappointed at some January window transfer windows before, haven't we? We've been absolutely distraught. So we've signed players, and if they come through, I'm quite happy, but I would love a left back. Yeah. What about you, mate? Oh, you're on mute.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, I was just trying to get the picture uploaded for Mr. Richards at Chelsea there. Yeah, I mean, I still think we should have gone for a left back because I just think the performances at left back have been troublesome, and we are relying once again on Christensen becoming fit. And I wouldn't be so worried if it wasn't for the fact that Suter was back training on grass, and all of a sudden 2 weeks after he started training on grass, he was out for the rest of the season again. Which could unfortunately worry me with Christensen. And it feels like if we don't have that player in and Koulibaly for one doesn't come back to the club, or you don't bring in a young left back on loan, if Luke Thomas has another bad run, and I feel a bit sorry for him. I mean, he's got a lot of heat. His defense has been pretty terrible, but he is getting a lot of pelters. And I kind of think the nicest thing to do is not to play him, just to get him out of the ammunition. So I would feel for him if he ends up in a position where he's having to play and getting exposed all the time. So I hope the club hasn't got that wrong. A good question here as I quickly get the last picture I need, and we're going to then rank the signings, guys. All right. So question here from Scott: do you think we'll change formation if we have new signings? What do you think, Wayne? Do you think we're sticking with this 4-2-3-1 under Kingy?
It's a very interesting question, and we're all fascinated to find out what Kingy's going to do. Because the thing is, if we have got a centre forward and number 10, it's really interesting. So this is Kingy's first, what I think is real opportunity. I think he might stick to 4-2-3-1, but I hope he doesn't. Or if he does play a 4-2-3-1, he at least in training develops some good link-up play.
Yeah.
One good thing about younger players, they quickly take on board ideas a lot faster than older players. That's one positive, isn't it?
Yeah, this is true. Yeah. So once again, just an update on Dujon Richards. He has apparently completed a loan move to Leicester. The 20-year-old Jamaican international has agreed terms. An announcement is to be made shortly. So it looks like, guys, we can say that's probably pretty official now. It's just the club hasn't posted it yet. So we're just waiting for confirmation. So that is good news. Right, Wayne, and everyone in the chat as well. Let's have a bit of fun to finish the show off for today. First up, Joe Aribo. We're going to score them out of 10 and what we think so far. And then we can laugh at the end of the season if we're right or wrong. So I'll start off with this. I don't see any harm in gambling on the Joe Aribo right now. He's playing for his future. I mean, I think there is enough there of a player. He hasn't been consistent, which is the worry for me, right? I think he needs to be consistent now for 6 months to earn himself a contract somewhere. But I do think that's a good challenge, and there's a good environment for him to come in and do that, and he's got a bit of experience. So I'm going to go for a 6 out of 10, if that's not too harsh on Joe Aribo. What do you think, Wayne?
Yeah, like Jim said, we've got to be careful because we're all quite excited about Caranto. Yeah, I'd say a 6. I'd say a 6. Cautiously optimistic, I'd say.
Cautiously optimistic. Get yours in the chat as well, guys. We're going to quickly bounce through these. Aribo's got a 6 there, and Planet Earth is breaking all of Chris's rules, but I think that's a 5 to an 8 out of 10, but we'll give it there. Armchair's gone for, if I press the right button there, I somehow managed to highlight that. We got Aribo and Daka up front. That could happen with Leicester. A 3 from Armchair. Nick's like Aribo may give him a chance. And Scott's got 5 out of 10. And a good point from Kevin. He'd be playing for Saints if he was anything as well. So, yeah, it is a bit of a gamble. Nick in with a 6 there as well. Interesting. We're all about the same level, aren't we? Some of us are viewing it slightly more glass empty than glass full. But I think we're all like, it's a signing that he can make the best of this now, can't he? And maybe push on from there. Right, let's get the other man who is, we're pretty sure, confirmed. And here he is, a very cheeky chappy there, Dujon Richards. So, I mean, I don't know a lot about him. I just saw like he's played for Jamaica and, he's got a bit of a presence up there. So I'll go with the exciting one of a 5 for this. I'm not overhype it, but I think a 5 out of 10 for this effort from John Rudkin. Wayne?
I'm going to go big. 7.
A 7?
This could be the answer that we were. Look, it's early days, but anything is an improvement. Anything is an improvement. So if he gets us, 5 goals before the end of the season, that to me is a success.
Well, there we go. Exactly. As a 10 from Armchair. So I think you probably know some more about him than we do, mate, or you've probably played Football Manager like me a lot, bud. Got an 8 for Richards there as well. A 5, know nothing of him. Similar to me, Planet Earth, and I don't want to put any pressure on him. Will he start Ayew and Daka over? This is a good question, isn't it? I imagine he'll come into training. We'll see how good he is. This is what happened at Exeter with Armani Richards. He went into training with their strikers thinking he'd be the best one, and he wasn't. So that's why I've gone for the 5 rating myself, Kevin, here. Nick's gone for a 7. And Blue Fox has gone for a 7. I think there's a lot of optimism in the chat tonight with us, mate, because we signed a striker. We did it with Carranza, and unfortunately, Carranza was off the pace.
He's smiling, Tom, as well, which is, we need smilers, don't we?
We do need smiles. Unfortunately, it might be wiped off his face once it gets to Seagrave, and it looks like a haunted house with thunder and lightning firing over it right now. Richards could be a real signing out AL10. Money concerned as he's come back from an ACL injury recently. It seems to be the Leicester way, doesn't it, Scott? We were saying this. A lot of our bargain bin shopping is, say, for example, we're in a toy shop buying Power Rangers toys. We're going to the reduce to clear bin and buying ones with arms and legs missing, it seems to be. That seems to be our transfer strategy. So, right, on to the rumoured ones, guys, which I haven't seen confirmed. I mean, but let's talk about the ones we're pretty sure are going to happen here. So, our Man City loanee, Mukasa, I can't pronounce his name. Is it Mukasa? Is that correct, Wayne?
Yeah, Mukasa.
Yeah. I want to make sure I get it right. I'm a bit of a Murray Walker, guys. I get it wrong. So I'm excited by this lad. This is probably my highest one because I think he's got a lot of raw attributes here. An odd comparison. He reminds me of Aluko. I think he's a bit of a lanky sort of player who can really move the ball well and be a bit of chaos. So I'm going to go for a 7 for this guy if we get him in. What do you think, Wayne?
Yeah, I'd say 7/8. I really like, I like tidy players, and he will be tidy. Coming from that academy, he will be a bloody good footballer. Yeah, love it. And it's like Ramsey, he's prone to injury, and that's why we got him. But Ramsey, the quality of that guy, able to attack the box and link other players, and if he's anything like that, I love it. Yeah, love it.
Yeah, me too. I think that's it, isn't it? And I think it's interesting you mentioned about Man City's youth academy. I would say like what Man City are doing there is what we need to be trying to do at Leicester, because facilities wise, we've got a similar standard of facility. It's about all the other bits we've got to bring into that. It should be a big focus for the club going forward. I mean, I think Man City, the thing that I get annoyed at them how they run because of their dodginess off the pitch, but I cannot argue. I think they've actually now in the last 5 years somehow produced the best youth academy, arguably in Europe.
Yeah, just one more point. May played football with Sports Arsenal, and you got that Max Bowman who came on at 15, didn't they?
Yeah.
I said, well, where's Max Bowman? I've not seen. He says, yeah, he's had a couple of injuries, but Arteta's he'll only play him in games where he thinks he's got enough support around him, and he won't get like battered, by a really horrible defender that's going to leave one on him. He says, but in the Champions League, Arsenal played 3 of their academy players in the Champions League, so. They are a club like Man City that do give the kids a chance.
Yeah, it's interesting the fact they're allowing these. Yeah, I was going to say, it's interesting to allow these players to go out on loan to places like us as well, because I've argued this year, Abdul Fattah has been shirking challenges left, right and centre, and I think actually if he stood up for himself and didn't mind it so much, I think he'd be a better player for it. And it makes me wonder if this sort of loan is to try and harden up a player a bit, like you say, because even though the Championship is a physical league and more physical than a lot of other ones, these things give you such an edge when you go play European football, can't they, down the line, which would be probably the hope for him. Right, the other one I'm going to go for, I won't go for every Leicester player we've been linked with or other player, but the last one for tonight, guys. What do we reckon about Mr. Lascelles then? Obviously, ex-Nottingham Forest as well. Let's not forget it. Steve Cooper vibes, perhaps. But then there's also Wes Morgan vibes, on the other hand, perhaps. So I'm going to be controversial. I'm going to give this a 7 if we get him, because he's on quite a high wage, I do agree. But I like someone who's got a bit of fight in them and he's got a bit of attitude. And I kind of think with the time he's been away from the game, as long as he can get up to pace, I think there is something there in him, Wayne. What do you think?
Yeah, I'd say 6. I like his attitude. The fact that he's had a training ground scrap with somebody, and he told the people, said he got people in the changing room saying, "You're not pulling your weight. You need to do that." He's a captain. He paid through the pain barrier to get. He's got the character that we need, and that is infectious. Like you said, Tom, you feel we've lacked in signing people with character that. Not Shay, you off Pearson. That Pearson really thought was important. And
that's it,
isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's kind of like looking for that leadership, isn't it? And it is interesting because we've been preaching on this channel all season about lacking leadership. I mean, I was on the horse of I'd like to keep Jamie Vardy, if he was available for £20,000, because I think for that sort of money, you can't buy that level of experience he was going to bring into the squad, right? So I think it's good, and that's why I'm leaning towards a 7 with this, because I just think he's got that bit of attitude to him. I've had it where I've worked in places before, and someone's come in who's got a bit of swagger about them, and they lift the place. So I'm hopeful that's right. An armchair saying there, we need a change of captain, which is good. Effectively, you could sign 5 Man City or Chelsea players as long as only 2 players in the club are above 23. This is it, because they don't get registered under a certain age as well. We can only have 5 in the squad, but you can have as many as you probably want there, guys. Dorco said, do we have an enthusiastic player in the change room to pump the other players up, or are we all depressed? I think it's funny, Wayne, isn't it? We have seen like the infighting going on the pitch with Mavrodini getting argumentative with AU, and AU having words with Jacob and all the rest of it. And an armchair saying down here as well, I'd make Winks captain. I think this is a big problem with this year. I think there is people in this dressing room who have got the voice of leaders, but I just think a lot of them are either choosing not to use it, or the ones that are talking are probably not the ones we want talking almost. They might be talking against what, is successful for the football club. But yeah, I mean, what do you think about that, mate? Do you still think like when we've got these lots in, say Aribo's in, the Salas is in, hopefully being well, would you look at the team then and go, okay, I think we've now got the right amount of leadership, we can probably cobble together a squad with?
Yeah, I do. It's like what Ramsey, although he's super skillful, it's only because the injury got him. He is bloody tenacious, and he's very competitive, and he wants to win. And he was what you can see him during the match going, come on, get the ball, let's attack. And Lascelles will be that kind of player, and we need that. You need those players in your team when things are going bad. You want players who will roll the sleeves up, even though he's got short sleeves on, and influence because good leaders, when things like Winks at the weekend, he was really organising that Charlton team, and Lascelles is that kind of guy. And even the guy from Man City, he will be used to. He's played in England under 16s, 17s, 18s, 19s. He's played in the first team. he will want to win. He's from a winning mentality team. So that's what we need. Yeah.
That is what we need indeed. And also, Prashat's right here. I was going to end the show with this. I think the favourite signing of the window would be Alicia Lehman. It's interesting, isn't it? Obviously, the women's team's gone out and invested quite heavily because they're not under the PSR obligations that the male team is, obviously. But I think that's a great one there. Guys, I think we'll wrap this up. I've just been sat here for the last 10 minutes refreshing the Leicester official channels, just trying to make sure that we haven't missed anything and to make sure nothing has gone through. But it's only been confirmed so far, as we have ended the transfer window 35 minutes ago, that Joe Aribo has joined us on loan from Southampton till the end of the season. He is also out of contract in the summer, so there is an opportunity maybe for us to do further business with him further down the line. And obviously, it's not quite been confirmed. We're going to go with Richards from Chelsea, aren't we, as well, Wayne? As we're pretty sure is in on a season-long loan. He's a striker, obviously Jamaican international. So 2 good bits. And hopefully, guys, by the next time we see you, which will be for, I believe, the preview show with Brad, I'm not quite sure, but obviously Chris is away, guys, this week, so it'll be a limited schedule. But as long as you've hit that sub bell, hit the like button, you'll know when we're going live next. But yeah, a better window like most of us expected. I think Armchair is probably right there. So Wayne, thank you very much for coming along for this, mate. It's always been a bit improvised, but obviously there's not much I could plan for this show apart from when signings are going to happen. So I lined up what I could for everyone, and we just improvised the rest. But thank you guys in the chat for all your support as well. Like I say, we'll be back with that preview show, and then we got the watch along coming up at the weekend as well. I'm looking forward to having a week off, Wayne, now the transfer window's closed. I think I've been sporting overload. I don't know about you recently, mate.
Yeah, definitely. And it'd be nice to have a victory, wouldn't it? Score a couple of goals. Can we score a couple of goals, Tom?
Well, this is it. I mean, the worrying thing is, right, for a quick preview for Birmingham before we go, guys, my thought is we've played the easy games now, right, and we've lost both of them. And now we're going to look at games coming up and go, oh, my God, we must have West Brom at some point before the end of the season. That game is looking to be utterly... Have we played West Brom twice now? I can't remember, Wayne.
I don't think we have, no.
No, I mean, I'm losing track. I mean, I must be honest, guys. I'm sure I'm the same with you. This season, literally, I've been trying to block out games as much as I can as soon as they've happened. Like, I forgot we lost to QPR away 4-1 as well, because literally I try to block out my mind. Anyway, I'm waffling, guys. We'll see you back for that. Let's hope these new signings that will be confirmed, hopefully as the evening goes on, will have a good effect at the weekend. And then we'll see you for that one. So thank you guys very much for watching. Thank you for being here. Chris, I hope you're enjoying your pints, my friend, as we speak. And on that one, we'll say good night. Cheers, guys.
Cheers all.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You better like them too, or I'll be back.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network.
TalkSport. Powered by fans.
That will conclude this evening's entertainment.